We wish you were here too.
I bet you do. That could be your entertainment.
Oh. Oh. Go to
And
dance
I
on
would
the
have,
table.
and I would have made you tea. Let's see if we can get out of here before 7 o'clock today.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I hope so.
Yeah, you're not supposed to have them in the barn when you're milking cows. I'm gonna put this way over here, Mel.
You guys are sharing?
Yes.
Yeah, we have to share because Dale's is not working and Dale's using mine.
Oh,
So I'll shut my mic off. You guys want to talk, so.
I'll shut up. I won't say much anymore. What's your time sheet? Sheet.
Here's your time sheet, Dale. Gotta stay behind this counter so nobody sees my pretty legs. An awful glare coming in here.
Maybe it's your shining personality.
Better to pull that in. That's sunlight coming.
Yeah.
Try that. Move your thing down here.
Melvin, I think we're gonna sit over here because we're getting a glare here.
What's coming off my head?
Speak. Mic off.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're getting there. This is all the stuff that's been tabled in the last while. Okay, Mel.
Mic is on right now.
Yes, it is.
Uh,
Okay, I think we're all set. Whenever
Okay.
you are, Mr. Chair.
So we'll start with a roll call. Tom?
Yep, he's here. He's just
Okay.
muted.
I'm here.
Bob?
Here.
Mark?
Here.
Dave? You see Dave at all, Jamil? Jamil?
There was a David, but I don't think it's David Serwatic.
Okay. Mal's here. Laverne is here. Nancy?
I am.
Margaret?
here?
And myself, Dale. So anyone that's watching, my video comes up as Mel Switzer, so we've had some computer issues, so. If you have any complaints, then file them under Mel Switzer and that'll be good. It is 1:06. So we'll start with the first application and now before I start, is there any committee members that have a conflict with any applications today? Okay,
Nope.
seeing none. At the end, we'll have a little business meeting if we need, if there's any questions. And so Jamila, if you want to call the first one.
All right. So we are hearing FLA 21-248 for 653 Safari Road in Flamborough. We have the agent registered to speak, as well as the owners and 2 interested parties.
Just 1 minute before we start. Jamila, can you take your mask off or do you have to have it on?
So there's other people in our meeting room, so I have to have it on. I have,
Okay.
If you're having a problem hearing me, I can switch
Yeah,
for a
just-
smaller one.
Yeah, just speak a little louder maybe.
Okay, I'm gonna switch my mask then.
Okay.
This is a new mask, so I haven't tried it out with the WebEx yet, so I wasn't
Okay.
sure. Okay, we'll try that and see if that's better.
Yep, that's good.
It is.
Okay. Yeah, so it's a thicker mask. It matched my outfit was the problem. This one doesn't match my outfit.
Okay. Sorry.
Okay. All right. So we did have the 2 interested parties, and I do believe planning staff are available as well. Where do you want to start?
What are we waiting for?
I think just Dale.
Yep.
Did you want to hear from the applicants with their amended
Oh, okay.
application first, or did you want to hear from the
Yeah,
interested
I just want to make
parties?
sure. Okay. Is the agent there?
Yes, I am.
Yep. And so I guess, how many variances are we looking at here today? Is there a revised edition or are we still looking at 7 variances?
There are 6 variances through Mr. Chair. We had requested for earlier 4 farm labor houses, but we have cut it down to 1, which is an existing house. And we want to get that one converted to a permanent a labor residence. I think the staff is coming back with a report for more than 1 at a later date. So we revised our application. So there are about 6 variances we are talking about.
Okay. And
And-
which variance are we eliminating at this time? Which
Number 1, we took it out altogether, which was a
Yep.
request for 4 farm labor houses.
Okay.
And others, they essentially deal with the existing farm labor house, and it should be on a separate driveway, on a separate septic system. It should be more than 30 meters away. So these are just the small zoning variances we are requesting to make sure that we are able to get 1 farm labor house designated as a permanent labor house and 1 principal residence.
Okay. I guess a question that I may have just to start would be the planning. Are we allowed to have a farm resident house on a parcel that the greenhouse is not on? Is that the situation here? Is the farm labor house that you want to convert, the actual greenhouse either isn't built yet or isn't on that specific parcel of land?
Through Mr. Chair, we are in the process of coming up with a detailed site plan. We have already applied for a site alteration permit just to prepare the grounds, to level the ground so that we can apply for a site plan with the details about the greenhouses. So the process is already underway. We just want to make sure that we have the approval to designate, to get this house designated as a farm labor house, and we'll be able to build it, because we'll need labor on site to help with the cleanup and with the construction of the greenhouse. In addition, we want the farm labor who's staying on this house, and this house should be able to go to other properties, other greenhouses owned by Singhs. because we
Okay,
cannot
so-
accommodate 15 or 20 of them at one place.
Okay, so then my question, I guess, to planning is, can you allow to have a farm resident house on a property that doesn't have a greenhouse on it at present?
Mr. Chair, sorry, I thought I saw the planners on for this file, but it doesn't appear that they're on just yet. We're just sending them an email to see if they're available or if they were not available for this item, and that's why they aren't on
Okay,
here.
because I think we need planning comments on this one. It's
Yeah.
important. So if, I guess if we want to hear from the concerned neighbors, are there questions and concerns?
Raise your hand.
So we did have Greg Robertson who had registered to speak. So we can hear from him.
Oh,
Yes, how are you today?
I'm good, thank you. Sorry for my ignorance, but I don't really understand this. Like variance number 2 that they have tabled, they're
Well,
asking for,
they're not applying for 4
no,
farm labor residents. They're just applying for the one house that's there, converting it to a farm labor resident.
but this is what I don't understand is because over the past 3 years, they've already had people living in that house. They're workers. So I don't understand why they need a variance now. I would have thought they had it a lot.
I'm probably guessing that, you know, the cart was before the horse and they put farm laborers in that house before they should have. And now they realize
Exactly.
that they need a minor variance application to legally allow that.
So this is my problem because they've already done illegal stuff. Now, if they are accepting, if you guys accept this, how far will they go with more illegal stuff?
Well, that's
And-
really not in front of us today. I guess that becomes bylaw issues, you know, if they carry on a business that's not registered or anything like that, that falls under a bylaw, if they're not in compliance. And we can't really deal with a what if scenario. We can only deal with what is there today.
Mhm. Okay.
Charlie Tolman just arrived.
Yes, Mr. Chair, the planner for this file is on the call now.
Okay.
Now, if this goes through, there'll be a lot of farmers in the area, which I know, which would really like this idea, having their migrant workers on another property and just ship them to each farm. At some point, you can just have 1,000 farmers at a motel and then go to these locations. It's going to be opening up a can of worms.
Yeah. So I hear where you're coming from, and maybe since we have planning staff here now, maybe we can get an answer to that question that I asked. Can you have a farm residence on a piece of property that the actual greenhouse or the facility they're supposed to be working in is on a separate property?
Good afternoon, Charlie Tolman, Senior Project Manager for the rural team. I apologize for being late. With this specific proposal, staff do not have any concerns with the minor variance, with the current greenhouse operation that's currently operating being next door, and also that we fully expect and understand that a greenhouse operation will be built on the subject property. Plans are already been submitted to the city for that. So in this particular situation, staff do support that variance. Though if it was another situation, that as was just mentioned, staff would have to look at that separately. It's not a precedent for all future variances for a planning staff, but in this situation, staff can support it.
Okay, Thank you for the answer to that question.
If I may, Mr. Chairman, what's staff's position with respect to the issue of whether the workers' residence should be on the same property as the permanent resident, the owner's residence in effect, and within a relatively short distance of the owner's residence? Number one, I don't know what the purpose of that is in the bylaw, but that's what it seems to say.
Through the chair. So the existing zoning regulations does have I believe, a 30-meter setback between the principal residence and the farm help residence. And the main intent of that setback requirement is to implement the OP policy that the primary residence and the farm help residence be on the same septic system. So that is something that we did look at. In this particular situation, because the applicant was looking at converting an existing dwelling on the property, that it's not a new dwelling that they're looking at bringing on to the property. And just given the layout of the property, staff were supportive of increasing that setback. But again, that is just in this situation, and it may not apply in the future variance applications should they arise.
And are staff supportive of the two residences being on different driveways?
Through the chair, for this particular proposal, staff are supportive of that.
Is there any issue staff is not supportive of?
Through the chair, as was discussed at the previous committee meeting, the original proposal was to construct 3 additional new permanent farm help dwellings. Staff were not supportive of that proposal, as we didn't feel that it met the intent of the OP and the zoning bylaw. But with the conversion of the existing building into a farm help residence and all the variances that the applicant required just for that conversion, staff were supportive, or are supportive.
And I understand that proposal for the 3 other residences is now withdrawn. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's true, Mr.
Chair, that is my understanding, but I'll let the applicant speak to that.
Through the chair, yes, we did withdraw the request for additional 3 properties, 3 additional farm labor houses, because staff is coming back with a report sometime in October, November, dealing with that issue at a higher level.
Okay, so let's go back to the neighbor. If you have any more questions.
No.
No? Okay. Was there anyone else, Jamila?
So there was Mrs. Roberts as well, but I don't see her on the call this time.
No, she had to go to work.
Committee have any questions to the agent?
I have Nancy.
Mel Switzer?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I have concerns that things are maybe premature for what's going on here. There's a lot of things that's down the road, and I just wondered whether it's premature for this to happen at this time. That maybe they should sit down with the city and get everything straightened out at one time, so that we know what we're doing. So I think it's premature myself. So.
And we had Nancy.
Yeah, my mic is on. Okay. I've been at the property and I understand what's going on, and I actually support what they're changing these variances to. What I keep hearing from the neighbors and from some of the other comments is the concern about the laborers actually walking from one property to another. And I'm not quite sure how that fits into the variance. That seems to be more of a safety factor, or some kind of I don't know, we keep hearing about there being no road allowance there, and it's a safety factor. That's something that should be addressed by traffic or some other department, but really doesn't have anything to do with the variance. So if that's the only thing that's sticking out, then I'm prepared to make a motion for approval.
And I second that motion.
I'll just,
And-
before I take that motion, is there any other questions from the committee?
I have a question.
Yes,
Uh,
it seems to me that perhaps, tied to what Nancy said, the requirement that they all be on the same driveway within a short distance of each other on the same property is you can call it a safety issue or a social issue. I mean, basically the owners, if they comply with the bylaw, the owners are within shouting distance of the residents. No wild parties, no strange goings on, no this, no that obviously neighbors might be concerned about. And nobody has raised that, but it strikes me that maybe that's one of the reasons for the bylaw providing what it does. Anybody have any thoughts on that?
Oliver?
Yeah, I have a bit of a concern here. Quite often we have this thing pop up in front of us, farm help houses, and there seems to be guidelines in place. And I'm afraid that if we were just to blatantly approve this thing, that we may be setting a precedence for somebody else down the road, and they would say, well, you did it for the Singh farms, why can't you do this for me? And I don't want to get caught in one of these setting a precedence, because I think this is, like I've heard once said today, this thing may be a little premature. I drove up there and took a look at it. It's obvious that somebody has been using this as a farm help house. There's bicycles and litter and whatever else you can drop around the outside of the place. And however the people get there, it sounds to me like they're walking down the shoulder of the road in the summertime to get to the place. If we approve this thing, we could be approving something that if the snow flies and there's snowbanks on the side of the road or where the snow has been plowed, these people have to almost walk on the road to get to it. And several times I've heard this over my past 14 years, that the farm help house has to be on the same property that where they're working. And here we're going completely against the grain of this. And I think we're just throwing a Band-Aid on this for the sake of making an approval. They've been living in this home, as we just heard here a few minutes ago, for about 3 years. I don't know what's going to change if in the next 6 months, if we can get this thing all sorted out. So I'm not really in favor of it yet. I hate to be negative here, but on the other hand, I don't want to set a precedence. Thank you.
Okay, but Vern, the planning consultant said that each one's on their own merit, and they already have an application to put on the site what needs to be done to work on it, and it's already gone in the stage where it's likely going to go through. So it's not a precedent-setting thing. If this was, they weren't going to put anything there and it was going to be somewhere else, that's a different story. So that was kind of addressed by the planning consultant.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not sure I understood that.
Sorry, so just to clarify, there is no precedent set with minor variances. Each one is reviewed on its own individual merit. So there is no precedent setting with minor variance.
And the planner said that they've got an application in to put something on site, and that's why they are not opposed to it, where if they didn't have it at that stage, they likely would have been.
But as I understand it, what's going on the site is a greenhouse, not a residence of the farm owner within 30 meters of the worker's residence. And it looks like the owner's residence will be on a separate driveway from this residence. So all that's happening after this matter is decided is a greenhouse may very well go on that property. That doesn't change all the other issues about being.
No, if the workers are working in that greenhouse, then they're not walking down the road in the winter.
Well, no. But what the request is that they be allowed to work on other lots as well, not just the greenhouse. That's one of the variances that's being sought. It's not so that the workers living in that house.
Where's
Yes.
that one?
Yep. Bob?
I'm just trying to sort this out, and I'm wondering if planning staff aren't favoring this from the standpoint that this is already being used as a residence. And if that's the case, wouldn't it be simpler if we just approve this on a time-limited basis so that within 6 months or whatever, they have to come back if they haven't made the changes, if there isn't a greenhouse on the property, if the other things haven't happened? I think that we may be kind of reaching over our head to scratch our ear instead of using the other hand. So if there's a way that we could do something that would allow them to at least continue to use it, but stall things off enough that if everything else doesn't come into place within a year's time or whatever, that they then have to come back for a different variance or extension or whatever.
But one of the variances being sought is this, number 4, and I'll read it. Full-time labor is accommodated within one permanent farm labor residence shall be permitted to be employed on farm operations on other lots with an agricultural use instead of the requirement that a farm labor residence, including their full-time laborers, shall be accessory to agriculture on the same lot. So this business of walking down the road continues along with the other issues that so I mean that's the thing. I mean, if what we're doing, what we're approving is all right, use it as a residence with the workers only working on that property.
I'm going to be on this side.
I'm sorry.
Sorry, that was just interference from somebody else.
If what we're approving is all right, use that as a residence with the people living there working only on that property, I don't have a problem with that. But it seems to me they're asking for much more than that. And there's still the issue of essentially the people living in that residence being out of what I'll call supervision range of the owner. We've heard one comment about litter and the state of the property and whatnot, and that's likely to happen if the owner's not there saying, "Hey, boys, let's keep this clean."
Oh, man.
Okay, so I'm going to, Nancy, your motion as is.
We also did have Margaret, who I think wanted to speak as
Okay,
well.
sorry, Margaret.
I did. Yeah, I just want to have this confirmed by the agent, but my understanding is that the existing greenhouse operation is on a separate lot than the proposed greenhouse operation for which there is a site plan being reviewed, and that the farm laborers that are currently in the existing house are working on the neighboring property with the existing greenhouse. So they're not going halfway across the country to work on a different farm. It's just happens to be on a separate piece of property. My other understanding is that the house that the owners are going to be building is actually on the same lot that the farm labor house and the proposed greenhouse are on. So if the agent could confirm that, please.
Yes, through you, Mr. Chair. You're absolutely right. The farm labor that's staying on this property does work on the property next door.
Mm-hmm.
And the proposal is to get a principal residence on site so that all those issues that people have talked about can be monitored and controlled. And
Is there a possibility of, in the site plan for the new greenhouse, to ensure that when the farm laborers are going over to the existing greenhouse on the separate lot, that they walk internal to the site as opposed to on the road?
that can be made possible because there is a connection. There will be a connection between the two at the property line. So instead of walking on the road, they can definitely walk on the across the property internally and alleviating any of the safety issues.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. And I think the reason, just to clarify, the reason we came back with this variance number 4 is that because of the pandemic, a lot of farmers just couldn't get the help. And so they actually ended up using a labor from adjoining properties to come and help them out. I think the times have changed. The way we are looking at the whole agriculture operation has changed altogether. With the greenhouses coming up, they are 24/7, 365 days a year operations, and you need people to attend to that right away. And farmers, small farmers are, I mean, it's very hard for small farmers to survive these days. So I think farming operations is getting bigger and bigger, and that's why the change is coming. And you will see, go to Leamington or some other places where you see 100 acres of greenhouses, 50 acres of greenhouses. They got 50, 60 people living on the same property, and they got multiple homes on it. I think that's the reason I think the staff will be bringing a report sometime in October, November to deal with a bigger issue right now. And on a one-off basis, we are requesting for this particular application. Thank you.
Well, let's go back to my motion.
Yes.
Before I go to the motion, I want to confirm, does they own a greenhouse on Carlisle Road, 87 Carlisle Road,
Yes, they do.
which is quite a ways away from where you're talking for farm help houses, so.
Yeah, but they have I think I can let Mr. Singh respond to this, but they have a separate labor house. There's a house there that labor stays there, and maybe Mr. Singh can respond to it.
Yes, there is a separate house for the 87 Carlisle Road facility for the workers to stay, which is different than here. And to further go on to that point, health officials from the city of Hamilton do come to check the housing and inspect before we can put in an application through Service Canada. So Service Canada is well aware of where our employees are staying and where they are working. And we've always done everything legally and by the book. The workers would not be here if we did not go through the proper process. Nothing we do is illegal. It's all within the rules.
Okay, Nancy, so did you want to clarify your motion so that I have a record?
Sure.
Still, okay, so your motion was a motion to approve, and that was with all reference to the 3 additional farm help dwellings being removed. So as per the applicant's revision that was attached to the comments, also with amendments to the preamble, which were not included in the comments, but to the preamble, removing all reference to the 3 additional units. And then was that also with the conditions that were originally proposed by planning at the last meeting as well?
Oh, boy.
Those. So the conditions were that the applicant shall receive final and binding approval of a zoning bylaw amendment, and that the applicant shall receive final and binding approval of a rural Hamilton official plan amendment. So I wasn't sure if planning staff were amending that or if that was still conditions.
That's a good question. I hope Charlie can help us with that.
Through the chair, those conditions would no longer apply with the
Exactly.
removal of the 3 additional.
That's what I thought. Okay, that's what I thought. So that would be without the conditions and without any limitation to the approval. Again,
Okay.
because we do have Service Canada, we do have full staff support, we do have City of Hamilton, and yeah, anyway, I'm
So that
okay
was-
with it.
Approval with the changes to the variances and the preamble as per the applicant.
Yes.
Okay.
And
And
Mark seconded it.
I
Yeah, Mark.
seconded that.
you're still seconding? Okay,
Yep.
great.
Okay, call the vote. All in favor?
1, 2, 3, 4. So I have 4 in favor.
Okay, opposed?
1,
3.
2, 3. So I have 3 opposed. So who did I not count a vote? So 1. Oh,
David.
David. David, did you vote? Yes. Which did you vote for? For approval? Okay. So then that's 4,
Five.
5 in favor and 3 opposed.
Okay. Motion carried, application approved.
Thank you very much. Thanks a lot. Thank you.
And if you'll just give me a minute for record keeping. Thanks.
Everybody vote.
So we really thank the committee members. We really thank the committee members and the planning staff for their understanding and taking the time to go through the application. Thanks a lot.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And Mr. Chairman, I don't know if you're aware, but your camera is off. So I just wanted to let you know just in case. And then we are all set for the next one whenever you are.
Okay.
Okay. So we are hearing HMA 21-295 for 191 King Street West and 22 Bay Street South in Hamilton. And we have the agents registered to speak and no interested parties.
Okay, is the agent available?
Yes.
Did you have a chance to read the comments from planning?
Yes, through the chair we did, yes.
And do you have any questions?
No, if the committee would like, we have prepared a brief presentation, but if it's the preference of the committee, we can forego that and ask any specific questions.
Okay, does the committee have any questions? Do you want any more information?
I have, sorry,
Mel
so
Switzer wants to move approval.
I already did that, but I'll second it.
Okay.
Okay. Sorry, I don't think I can hear Mel very well. So if he is speaking, he'll either have to speak up or Dale, you can just
I'll
let me
speak
know.
up a little bit higher. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Call the vote. All in favor?
Here, here.
Here.
Opposed, if any?
Seeing none.
Seeing none, motion is carried. Application approved.
Great, thank you very much.
Thank you. Can I just add one thing? I just want to thank staff for the help on this file. You will probably recall. Sorry, David Folletti here with Bellsfields on behalf of McMaster and Knightstone. But you'll recall this came previously where the committee granted approval, and we've been working very closely with staff to make some modifications to the elevations. And Jamila and the rest of the Committee of Adjustment team really did help us get the application together rather quickly. So I do want to publicly thank her and the rest of the great team for all of their hard work, as well as planning staff. So thank you all.
Thank you. That'll go a long ways for the next application that you have.
That's not why I did it, but thank you.
Thanks. Okay, and I believe we're all set for the next one. So we are hearing HMA 21-271 for 71 Mills Road in Hamilton. And we have the agent registered to speak, as well as the owner, and no interested parties.
Okay, is the agent available?
I am.
Did you have a chance to read the comments from planning?
We did. They appear to all be in favor. I have nothing to add. I'm happy to answer questions if necessary.
Okay, committee, any questions or motion?
Move it.
Yeah.
I think you can pick anybody, Jamila.
So we'll have Laverne motioned and David or Mark seconded.
Sure.
That works.
All in favor?
Yay.
Opposed, if any?
Seeing none.
Seeing none, motion carried, application approved.
Thank you.
Okay, and we are all set for the next one. So we are hearing HMB 2164 and HMA 21270 for 59 Mountain Park Avenue in Hamilton. We have the agent registered to speak, as well as the owner, and no interested parties.
Is the agent available?
Good afternoon, committee. It's Ryan Ferrari, AJ Clark and Associates.
Yes, did you have a chance to read the comments posted?
Yes, Mr. Chair, I've read the comments. We're in agreement with staff's recommendation for approval. Just really quickly, a housekeeping item regarding condition number 5 on the severance application. Public Works staff and Forestry originally requested a tree protection plan as a condition of approval. We spoke with staff and staff have emailed the committee and they wish to have that condition removed, and we concur with that. So if it pleases the committee to approve the application without condition number 5, please. And I'm happy to answer any questions if there are any.
No, that's good.
Okay, committee, have any questions or motion?
Move it with the condition removed.
Okay.
Seconder?
And I have Thomas.
All in favor?
Here.
Opposed, if any?
Seeing none.
Seeing none, motion carried, application approved.
Thank you, everyone.
All right.
Okay, and we're all set for the next one. So we are hearing HMA 2194 for 16 Elgar Avenue in Hamilton. We have the agent and owner registered to speak and no interested parties.
Okay, is the agent available?
I'm over here. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Good.
Over here?
Okay, we're over here. Did you have a chance to read the comments that were posted?
Yes, I've read the comments and thankful that staff is supportive of what I'm requesting.
And does the committee have any questions or concerns?
Move it.
Move it.
Laverne, then Mark. All in favor? Opposed, if any?
Seeing none.
Seeing none, motion carried, application approved.
Thank you very much.
Okay, and we're all set for the next one. We are hearing ANA 21263 for 101 Bluebell Crescent in Ancaster. We have the agent and owner registered to speak and no interested parties.
Okay, is the agent available?
Hi, good afternoon. It's JB Enderkirk from JVK Landscape Design.
Yes, did you have a chance to read the comments that were posted?
Yes, I have.
And do you have any questions?
Not a question, more so just a clarification. I spoke and reached out with the engineering development, sent them an email with an updated site plan for the 2 measurements. For whatever reason, it seemed to be one of the layers were off on the plan, or maybe they got deleted somehow on the PDF. However possible, they've been added. The measurements are also on the preceding pages D2 to D7, I believe, showing the actual structure. It was just missing from the site plan sketch.
Okay. So with that,
Okay.
sorry.
Go ahead.
With that, I will disregard the recommendation for tabling by Development Engineering and go forward with an application or a motion for approval.
Okay,
I'll
Nancy?
second it.
Laverne? No. Mel? All in favor?
Here.
Opposed? Opposed, if any? Seeing none, motion carried, application approved.
Thank you very much. Have a great afternoon.
No, it was Mel. So it was motioned by Nancy, seconded by Mel.
Yes.
Yep.
Jason has a radio voice.
Thank you very much.
Sorry for the table talk. Thought I had muted myself. Okay, and we are all set for the next item. So we are hearing ANA 2272 for 414 Glancaster Road in Ancaster. And we have the agent registered to speak and no interested parties.
Okay, is the agent available?
Good afternoon, committee.
Yes, did you have a chance to read the comments that were posted?
I have read them all, and I have a response to the comments that I'd like to share with you.
Okay, I'm just wondering at this point, would you like to table this application or did you want to have it heard today?
Mr. Chair, we have been going back and forth with committee for almost 6 months to work with them on the proposal that is before you. I think the issue that really is at hand is the H symbol that's on the property. I would like to proceed, and I'd like to speak to the H symbol and the intent as my interpretation of the planning side of it, how it relates to this property, as well as the use that is proposed being in the public interest of something that is required today.
Okay, go ahead.
So the proposal before you today is to put up a temporary structure for COVID relief supplies. This property has been, as I mentioned, going back and forth for basically 6 months. We provided not only a letter from the owner of the intended use, as well as some sale receipts of supplies that are intended to be housed in this temporary structure. And I think it's important to remember that this is a temporary structure. This is not a proposal for a structure to be permanent, nor require any servicing. And that goes back to the H symbol. The intent of the H symbol, as it is specifically written in the variance request number 1, deals with servicing, municipal water, wasteland, as well as transportation infrastructure. This is simply a temporary warehouse. This will not be permanently staffed, nor will any services be required for the temporary structure. On the property today, there is an existing dwelling. That existing dwelling is proposed to be maintained, and any type of sanitary facilities that we would be required for that temporary structure would be housed in that building. In terms of parking, the variance for parking, the site plan indicates a landscape buffer between Lancaster itself as well as the building that would shield any type of parking from driving by. So going back to that H symbol, of the intent of it, as a planner, in my opinion, is really to deal with a permanent structure. We are not proposing to have anything there. We've recommended to planning that any approval be tied to a 2-year limit. Within that time, we would like to make an application for permanent structures at that building. It would be at that time that we would address the issues of municipal water, municipal waste, as well as any type of transportation infrastructure that would be required through a larger development project. This is a temporary, unheated, essentially giant tent that would simply be housing COVID supplies. A truck would come, as indicated on the site plan, to the rear of the property, be loaded, and exit the property. This is a warehouse that will not be staffed, okay, and really is in the public interest, as these supplies have been sitting basically on a dock waiting to be unloaded. And I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have at this time.
Okay, committee, questions?
We have Thomas?
Yes, I understand that the house that's on the premises, does that have service, running waters, sanitation, whatever?
Correct, it does.
And what sort of staff would you see required to be there?
There would be 0 staff on a day-to-day basis. The staff would essentially come to aid in the loading and unloading of trucks. It would not be a staffed warehouse at all. It would only be staffed during times of unloading or the loading of these COVID relief supplies. That's it.
Is there a shortage of storage space for COVID supplies?
Through you, Mr. Chair, that's not a question I can essentially answer. I'm not sure, but I can tell you the owner of this property distributes COVID supplies, and this is a property he's had for some time, and he would like to utilize this property as a storage space for these supplies. And as mentioned before, through you, Mr. Chair, we have supplied planning with sales receipts, as well as a cover letter indicating the use that is here. So to answer your initial question, I can't tell you 100% if there is a shortage of supplies, other than this is an available piece of land that is vacant, that is underused, that in my opinion, in the public interest, is an optimal place for a temporary storage site like this.
And we
If
had,
I may, I have a couple of questions. I visited the site yesterday and I noticed that there was 12 shipping containers on site. Now, I understand in the past, shipping containers are classified as a structure. So were any permits issued to put those containers on site for this building?
I am not aware of any permits being issued at this time.
Okay, so the first problem is, you know, you've gone ahead with some construction here without any permits at all, and whether someone has blown the whistle or whatever, on the structure. Containers are classified as a structure once they're placed on the ground because they are not mobile. The other thing I noticed also is, you know, on a temporary basis, if the structure is allowed, what happens at the end of 2 years if it's not renewed? You know, will the structure be taken down? Will all the gravel that was put on site be removed and put the site back to the state it was before you started all this operation?
To answer that through you, Mr. Chair, this is an area that is seeing some development, as we can see from the surrounding areas. The intent of this property is to develop it. So what I would say is within those 2 years, it would be our intent to satisfy the issues of this holding bylaw, to proceed with a concise and a complete application to develop this property in accordance with the provisions of the zoning bylaw and the official plan, as well as to request any relief that would be required. If you know, after a 2-year period, this were not to have a concise development, I guess the two options would be to come back before the committee today for an additional time, because as we know, development does take time. Or if the owner at that point chooses not to proceed with it, it would be to remove it. And I would assume bring it back to a state that it previously was.
I understand the availability to be able to use the property that, you know, that the owner owns and operates. I just, I really don't like the idea of temporary conditions for structures this large. I have no idea how many warehouses there are in the country that are available to rent, but I'm sure that there are some out there, you know, that don't require heating, don't require staff. I also did notice yesterday when I was on site that there is a gas line just to the south of the building, and another line that comes out near the gas line, which would probably be either water or hydro. I just wondered why those would be in that vicinity near the structure.
I don't have an answer for that through you, Mr. Chair. I'm not sure.
Okay, back to the committee.
I have a question.
Laverne?
Yes, I also visited this site yesterday, and I was surprised at the size of it. It's not like we're giving somebody the okay to go ahead and put a temporary garden shed in the back dooryard or put a carport on the side of their house. For those of the committee members who have not seen this, there's 6 sea cans end to end on each side of this thing, and large aluminum rafters extending from the top of the sea cans, and probably they go 30 feet in the air. And I think the total length of a sea can, I believe, is somewhere around 20 feet. So this thing looks like it's about 120 feet long, and it's sitting on a bed of gravel. It's got to be 2 to 3 feet above grade. And so all that gravel has been trucked in there without a permit. All the sea cans have been put in there without a permit. And they've started putting the rafters, and they're probably got a third of the rafters installed in this thing. It looks like all of the rafters and the covering for the rafters are used, and it's been brought there from another site. And there's loading docks at the west end of it. So there's been a lot of work done in there with no permit. And it sure concerns me that somebody would take the liberty to go ahead and build all of this without a permit, and I'm not prepared to approve it. In fact, I think what's happened somebody has taken the liberty to do a lot of work in there without a permit, and I'm a little skeptical of somebody telling me, well, it's a temporary building and we'll take it down or we'll do with it whatever in 2 years. I also confirmed that I did see a natural gas line sticking out of the ground, which was about 20 feet from the side of the building, and that could be extended in there for something like heat or whatever. And there was a conduit sticking out of the ground, and I believe they could fish electrical wire through that also. So I'm a little skeptical on what they're trying to do here, and there's been a lot of work done without a permit, and for those reasons, I'm not prepared to approve this.
Okay, anyone else?
We had Margaret as well.
Yes, I have been reading through staff's comments, and they make a comment. They also are a little leery of doing this through a minor variance. And they have suggested that if the owners want relief, that I think that's the wording they use, that they should go through a temporary use bylaw and instead of going through the Committee of Adjustment. So I also don't feel that the minor variance is the route to take on this for a temporary use.
Okay, anyone else? There also was reference to a stage 2 archaeological assessment, which to date, I don't think the city has any record of on the site.
I had,
Nancy had
yeah.
comment.
I think enough has been said from some of the other members, but I keep hearing their COVID supplies, which I don't necessarily need to know exactly what that means, but the scope and size of this indicates something more than a bunch of masks and hand sanitizers. So if the agent is willing to share the necessity behind this realm of a structure, that might help me a bit.
Yes, this is a large distribution enterprise. This isn't a smaller type of mom and pop enterprise that would be distributing to independent pharmacies. These are large pallets that would be coming in to distribute these supplies. And I did submit to the planning department one of the orders that was in. That is a very substantial order, which is evident by the cost of what that order was. If you look at a scale of an individual box of masks and how much space that would take up. So that was supplied to planning throughout the process, probably about 5 to 6 months ago.
And what the size of these sea cans, which I'm familiar with sea cans, but those alone are more than one structure. So what we're not really looking at is one temporary structure, we're looking at 13 temporary structures, because they must be considered individually, I'm sure.
Correct. Part of it is the unloading and loading, and then possibly a sea can sitting there to be moved in and out of the site on an ongoing basis.
Okay, thank you.
The term temporary distribution center comes to mind. Question is, should we be approving that on a temporary basis? Seems to me this is just an effort by the owner to get some use out of this property to cover the carrying costs while he figures out what he's going to do with it.
Anyone else? Bob?
I'm prepared to move denial.
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion and a seconder. All in favor of denial of the application? Opposed?
And Mark, did you vote in favor or opposed of the motion?
No, I'm in favor of the motion.
Okay, thank you. So none opposed.
So motion is denied.
Motion is approved. Minor variance is denied.
Exactly.
Thank you for your time.
So just a note on that, does that mean that those already there structures have to be removed?
It should be.
Well, they should be, or else permits need to be issued for the 12 C-cans that are on site.
Mm-hmm. That's
I don't think they'll be moved unless somebody calls and complains. Otherwise, it'll just sit there. It's on a complaint basis, basically, I believe.
Yeah, so it would be through the municipal bylaw enforcement.
That's right.
The bylaws should be checking up on them regardless of this.
So I guess a question to Jamila. So on this application that we just had, do you send recommendation to bylaw that they're not in compliance?
There's usually somebody who's tracking their files, and so they're usually aware of when we're having our meetings, because it's usually if there had already been a complaint on the file, then there would be. So usually, if that's kind of how it works.
So then any concerned neighbors or whatever that are listening in, you can follow up on that by phoning bylaw and follow through.
For sure.
One neighbor on Lancaster Road did send in a letter against it, so.
Yes.
Planning staff also recommended an alternative means of dealing with it, so they are more than free to go ahead with that too.
Yep. For sure.
Okay, next.
Okay, so the next file was ANA 21-256 for 266 Alma Lane in Ancaster. We did have the agent request that the file be tabled.
Okay.
Oh, the owner's on there, and the owner's.
Yeah, we're here right now. So I don't know what the confusion with that is, but I'm here with Miss. Yeah, sorry.
So we did have the applicant request to be tabled to deal with an internal matter between the applicant and the owner.
Okay.
So I guess it's up to the committee whether or not you want to hear it or you want to table it.
Well, we have the owner here. What are your wishes to table it, or have you talked with your?
We would like to continue with this if we could. I'm the builder and the owner, Ms. Dale Goodwin, is behind me.
Okay.
So,
you read the comments that were posted?
I just got here. I just heard about it. So the comments we have not seen yet. It was Miss Dale Goodwin behind me asked me to come here because
I'm not computer savvy. I'm sorry.
They're not
Well,
bad comments anyways.
Yeah, the comments are positive. Planning recommends approval.
Good.
Thank you.
Does the committee have any questions?
Move it.
Wait a 1 second. I just would like to get the name of the person that's representing the owner at this point.
My name is Brian Walker. I own Bay Tree Homes Renovations, which I'll be building the garage.
Okay, just didn't know who you were. Sorry.
Okay, no worries.
It shows up as Dale Goodman on there.
Yeah, it's Dale's behind me.
Dale Goodman.
Yeah, Goodman. Sorry, my bad.
Okay, cool.
Okay, Mark, seconder. Bob?
Okay, Bob?
All in favor? Opposed, if any?
Seeing none?
Seeing none, motion carried, application approved.
Thank you so much.
Thank you kindly. Thank you very much. Thank you.
I know.
Okay, and I believe we're all set for the next one. So we're hearing HMA 21-278 for 213 Gulfwood Drive in Hamilton. We have the owners registered to speak and no interested parties.
Okay, is the owner present?
Okay, you'll just have to unmute yourself.
There we go. I think I've got it. Can you hear me?
Did you have a chance to read the comments that were posted?
Yes, sir, I did.
And do you have any questions?
I do not.
Move it.
Yep, I visited the site yesterday just because there was a letter of concern by a neighbor and I didn't see any issues
Nope,
with
move
the
it.
concerns.
Second?
Okay, so that was a motion to approve by Nancy and seconded by Margaret.
Yes. All in favor?
Here, here.
Here,
Any opposed?
Seeing none?
Seeing none, motion carried, application approved.
All right, thank you very much and have a good day.
Thank you.
Okay, and we are all set for the next one. So we are hearing HMA 2229 for 412 Dundurn Street South in Hamilton. We have the agent registered to speak as well as the owner and 2 interested parties.
Okay, is the agent available?
I am. Hi.
Did you have a chance to read the comments that were posted?
Yes.
Are you considering tabling? I see the recommendation is denial, but,
No, we'd like to speak to the proposal.
okay, go ahead.
Okay. All right. Can I share my screen?
Certainly.
Okay. So let me go full size. All right. Can you see that?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay. Great. Yeah. So I'm a secondary dwelling that they'd like to build in their backyard, which is facing a laneway. So this picture, you can see the existing conditions of the backyard today. As you can see, it's a very large yard. This is kind of looking from the deck down. And this is what it would look like with the secondary dwelling. Just did a quick Photoshop of it. It looks very small. The play structure is actually in the middle of their yard, and so this house would be at the far end. It looks kind of out of scale because of the overall size of the yard.
Would there be space between the play structure and the secondary dwelling, or does the play structure disappear?
No. So on the site plan here, you can see where it says landscaping in the middle of the yard. That's where the play structure is right now, about halfway down the yard.
Oh, it's halfway down.
Yeah, and the laneway house would be all the way at the back. And so I just wanted to look at the 4 tests to review the variance application. And because they have such a large yard, it's over 200 feet deep and almost 50 feet wide. The coverage of the SDU would, including the additional garage that would be added at the rear, is 12.7% of the gross lot area, which is half of what is allowed under the bylaw, which is 25% of the total lot area. So I did want to point that out, that it's proportionally much smaller than what would be allowed by the bylaw. In addition, the design and the intent of the secondary dwelling is to be able to have Anne's parents be able to age in place in this new house. And so you can see the floor plan that we've created, which has a 1-bedroom house with barrier-free accessibility at the front door, in the bedroom, in the bathroom, to the laundry space, in the kitchen, like a full barrier-free home, which is really hard to find in an urban location, and something that I think is important to take into consideration for the application. I also wanted to point out that when this new zoning was approved back in April of this year, there was a motion by council, actually by Councillor Farr, to have accessibility requirements allow for gross floor areas of secondary dwellings like this be in addition to the 75 square meters that's currently part of the bylaw. However, in talking with staff, it sounds like that didn't get enacted, or they didn't know how to exactly work out that additional area for barrier-free accessibility, which is what we're, and staff said, well, you'll just have to go to the Committee of Adjustment. So that's kind of why we're here today, is because the additional area is so that their parents can age in place in this location. I put the floor plate of the secondary dwelling just in Google Maps so you can see the scale of it and how it compares to some of the other garages and back buildings that are currently in the neighborhood. I would call this gentle intensification and consider it desirable for a neighborhood in order to have people be able to age in place in this very desirable community.
If I may ask the question while you have that, while you had that picture up there.
Sure.
In variance 1, the city is concerned with the fact that this secondary dwelling is larger than the primary dwelling.
Nope.
But it doesn't.
Yeah.
look
So
like it.
it's very similar in size, footprint wise, but that's because it has a garage that's attached to it. However, the primary dwelling is twice as big because it's 2 stories tall. It also has a large deck. So in reality, the gross floor area of the primary dwelling is considerably larger than this 1-bedroom house.
Nancy, did you have a question?
Yeah, I was just going to say I did some checking on that, and that primary structure is about 1,724 square feet. The fact that it does not take up, like it's not footprint size, I don't think should matter, and it certainly doesn't overpower the size of that house, or that proposed house, that's for sure.
Okay. Carry on. Sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. So yeah, just lastly, here's a few of the renderings of showing different views of the laneway house and how it would impact the neighbors. The bottom image is looking from the next neighbor that is to the south, where they already have a large number of trees, and there would be shrubs and other plants to kind of block the view, so it would be very minimal. And then the top image is showing the view from the laneway. Initially, the owners had intended to have a 2-story structure, but in talking with their parents, and they wanted to keep it lower and have everything on 1 floor. So I feel like that was a good move on their part to bring the overall height down, but still keep the same volume. And so just lastly about the potential for aging in place and using our existing laneway infrastructure as a place where we can do that. There's very few houses that are built without a threshold. Most new homes are built several stairs up still. And I think for laneway houses, there's a real potential to be able to have no thresholds, full accessibility, and to be able to live close to family members in a way that provides supports both for the older parents and for the younger families that are living there. So that's the intention of the proposal. And I just wanted to share more of that background with the committee on what their intent was and how we feel like it is appropriate for this location. Thanks.
Okay. I am surprised that, in previous applications, the intensification of housing in Hamilton, and I'm surprised that we don't see that comment here from planning because that's what seems to be coming from council is more intensification within the Hamilton area. Anyway, committee, Mel Switzer, question?
Yeah, I support what you're trying to do there, but what concerns me is you're 24 square meters over what's allowed. And I was wondering if it would be best if you tabled it to sit down with the city and try to figure out how to make this closer or get them to change it. So with the handicap, I'm going to use the word handicap, surfaces like maybe wider doors and that, taking up more room to make it more, change that their figure. So I just wondered whether that could be done.
Maybe so the owners are also on the call. Maybe they want to speak to that because we actually have had this this application ongoing for the past year. And initially it was with the previous zoning for laneway houses that did have a smaller footprint. It was only 50 square meters for the gross floor area, which is really small. And now it's been increased to 75. However, that still doesn't meet the needs of their household. Maybe they could explain a little bit more why.
Through the chair, if that's okay. My name is Liddell Andre Weed. This is my wife, Anne, and it's her parents that we're looking to build this for. So we had started off looking at a 2-story and then reduced it as much as we could, and keeping in mind the minimum that would work to allow barrier-free access. So relative to our current house, our house on the main level doesn't have a bedroom. It doesn't have a full bathroom. It doesn't have laundry, which are all things that you would need in order to have barrier-free living space. I also, it caught my attention as we were going through this process that, as I understand at least, if we wanted to build a garage of exactly the same size, we wouldn't need a minor variance. We would go directly to building permits. So if I were a vintage car collector and I wanted to build a house for the cars that I loved, I wouldn't be before you. It's just because we want to build it for the people that we love that we're here. And I also wanted to point out from the Google Maps that Emma had shown that our neighbors built to the north of us built a garage that's about as close to our house as what we're proposing to build is. And I think that's great. I think it's wonderful that they did. And so considering that our lot is both double width and double depth compared to typical in the main lower city, I think it's very reasonable that we're asking for something that's 31% over what the bylaw allows for any lot.
I have a question for planning, if someone is there.
Yeah, so I believe Joe Bertoloni is available for this file.
Yep.
Okay, so my question would be on this structure, the garage is enclosed and attached to the house. If that garage was not, if that was just a parking spot and say a carport or whatever, would that still be classified as living space or whatever for the house?
Through the chair, I don't know the specific provision to that or the definition. If it's a habitable room, I would assume that it would be added towards the livable space.
So is a garage classified as habitable room when it's attached and enclosed?
The garage itself, if it's used as a garage, I wouldn't assume so. I'm not 100% sure, but no.
Okay, well, that's just the question, I guess, that I would have, that, you know, if you want to, if the city is looking at the garage as part of the square footage of the usable house, you know, if it was a carport and not closed in, would it reduce the square footage and to come closer to compliance? But can't seem to get the answer I'm looking for.
Maybe I
Anyone
can
else?
answer that.
Sure.
I did the calculations, and the garage is not included in the square footage of the 99 square meters. But I had a question about square footage as well. So while the garage is not included, is the basement rec room, which does not appear to be barrier-free because there are stairs, is that included? Should that be included in the square footage as well? So will that increase the amount that's being asked for? And that is a question to staff.
Again, through the chair to the committee, that would be a question to zoning. Planning staff, I don't have that answer off the top of my head.
But a finished basement is considered to be livable space, right?
Yeah, so if it is the habitable space, I would assume it would be put towards the GFA, but I'm not 100% on that answer.
So if it is a finished basement, that would increase the amount being asked for from 99 square meters to something above that.
I would assume so.
Okay.
If I could, we don't include basement square footage in any of our, like even in the main house, 1724 is only above grade.
Yes.
Even though they could have a fully finished basement, but it's always above grade that's referred to in square footage, to my knowledge, and that's the way it's done with in the individual houses.
I'm just wondering whether there's a difference with laneway houses trying to limit the square footage.
From my perspective, I think what the big problem here is the relative size of this lot. It's a big lot.
Yep.
It could handle bigger space. And my difficulty is, as a person that's a senior, I look at properties and what they're suggesting for their usage is not extreme. We're not talking about 2 bedrooms. We're talking about a 1-bedroom house with not really big rooms, but big enough rooms that if they wanted to have a family Christmas dinner, they could have people over. And I think one of the problems that we're having is because these things were built for much smaller lots, like 250 deep, you don't find a lot of those lots in the city of Hamilton, in the interior part of the city. So I think from that perspective, I don't think that this is really unreasonable. I think it's a fairly reasonable thing to assume that if somebody had that size of property, they likely would want to be able to provide a little bit bigger unit for somebody in their family to live.
Okay, anyone else?
And sorry, Mr. Chair, I did want to mention again that there are interested parties who are registered to speak. So I didn't know if you wanted to finish with the committee members.
Maybe we should entertain those questions now.
Okay.
So we will hear from Robert Andri. So you'll just have to unmute yourself.
Robert?
Robert or Jane Andri?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you? Okay. I was having trouble with my iPad. I'm the. I'm just going to speak from a personal.
A little trouble to hear you. If you could speak louder or closer to the mic, please.
Okay, 1 second.
Better.
Can you hear me now?
Yes. What's your address?
My home address?
Well, in relation to this application.
I'm the individual. I'm the in-law. I'm Dale's in-law. Anne is my daughter.
Okay.
Okay. From a personal perspective, my wife and myself, I'm retired now. We had planned on doing a lot of other things, but circumstances, health reasons, all of a sudden, I was diagnosed with kidney cancer, which spread throughout my body. So I'm trying for my wife to move really quickly. Like, this was an ideal situation. We started the process long ago already when the laneway houses first opened up, and now we're still sitting here. And I'm looking from a time perspective. I just want to get things settled, my wife, my family, everything in perspective, in the right situation. So that's all I have to say. I appreciate all these comments, everything that's coming forward. It's been an interesting process, but at the same time, I would really like to move it along quickly.
Okay, we'll do our best.
Okay, thank you.
Was there anyone else?
I'd like to speak.
I think
We had another
and then
interested
David
party, and me, and
Oh, and the other interested party, it was the same together. So I believe it was his
Okay.
wife.
Okay, David, you were waving your hand?
Yeah, I was. Thank you. I'm a little wondering about this laneway thing. So I just need a little bit of clarity before I make a decision. Can these lots ever be, at the end of the day, be severed and you could have two single family or two houses on them and they can be sold separately? That would be one question. The other question, are there other houses on this laneway that have already been laneway housing on this laneway? And another one would be, is it controlled, like snow plowed by the city, or is it individual people plowing these laneways, the owners? So I just need a little clarification on how this, this whole system works here. I'm wondering if it's a setup for later on for severancing, and is it going to be like family and owner occupied, since it is a secondary dwelling on the same property? I know I have a lot of questions, but Emma, can you help me out there?
Yeah, so I'm through the chair, I'm happy to answer those. So I have been involved in the laneway house discussion for the past 10 years and I'm very familiar with the new bylaw as it's been written. First question was about severance, and the intention with the new bylaw is actually written so that the servicing to the laneway house has to go through the primary dwelling, thereby making it very difficult, if not impossible, to do severancing.
Okay, good.
Snow plowing would be the responsibility of the homeowner for all these applications. The city's not plowing laneways anymore, and they're not going to be responsible for that. And there's no other laneway houses on this block currently, although with more than 200 foot deep lots, I think it should have been an actual street down this laneway instead of the way it turned out. So it's a bit of an anomaly. I'm sure there will be more built along here, which I find would be a really good thing because it'll create a bit of a community inside the middle of this block. That's only for people who want to do that, but I can see that happening.
So is this restricted just to the owners of the property? Could there be an Airbnb or something in there, or is it just restricted to family and friends? Like, how does that control who gets to live there, who gets to hang out there?
Yeah, through the chair, there's no policies regarding Airbnb in Hamilton right now. So the homeowners are telling you that their intention is that their parents are going to live there, but we can't plan for people like that.
Yeah,
right?
it's not good faith. Okay, thanks.
So we have several committee members, and I believe we had Shannon from planning staff who wanted to speak as well. So whichever, do you want the order of the committee members? Or
Okay, let's hear from Shannon first and then the committee members.
Hi there, it's Shannon Mackay, Senior Project Manager for the Urban Team. I just wanted to clarify Margaret's question with regard to the gross floor area, which is defined by the bylaw, and it does include a basement, but not a cellar.
Right.
So what do we have here?
Through the chair. It would be a cellar because it's fully below grade. So the definition of basement is if it's over 50% above grade.
Okay, so this could be habitable space, but still not included in the gross floor area or secondary dwellings.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, that said, the intent of this basement space for this particular family is just for storage.
I'm sorry, for what?
For storage.
Oh, it's labeled as rec room.
Yeah, well, I don't think they're going to be doing a lot of recreation down there. I think it's it really is for storage. But
Well, let me ask you a question. Have you come across any secondary dwellings that have a basement? That seems to be an unusual thing here. Like my parents live in a retirement village, for instance, and they're all houses on slabs, no basements. This seems rather unusual. Have you come across any other secondary dwellings that have basements?
through the chair. Yeah, it does happen. It's not very common because mostly people are trying to build these on more of a budget and closer to property lines, which would make basements challenging. But they do happen when people are looking for more storage or more usable space.
It just seems to go against the grain. But have you actually seen one?
No, I've heard that they are, people are building them in Toronto, but I haven't seen it.
Okay, anyone else?
We had Nancy and then Laverne.
Okay,
Yeah,
Nancy?
thank you. Yep, thank you. This bylaw has only been passed since April of this year. So when we're asking about other units that look like this or that act like this or that are called this, we don't have very many we can compare to. So I am 100% behind this project. It's less than 1,000 or just around 1,000 square feet. Nothing more than they would get in an apartment building. The basement that we're referring to has absolutely no windows because it is fully below grade. So I wouldn't really concern myself with it being an extra room. As far as the splitting of properties, I don't think that's permissible once you develop the secondary housing unit in accordance with the bylaw, but who knows if that will change down the road. So I'm 100% behind this, and I wish all the best to the family for putting it out there to do it. And more of this needs to be done on these large properties. And I will make a motion for approval when everybody's done.
Okay, Laverne?
Yes, we've been throwing this thing back and forth for the last 15 or 20 minutes. And we heard some very, very favorable comments from Bob Charters, one of our committee members. And the only thing he didn't add to it was that he was making this a motion. And if he was making an emotion, I would second it. And then we just heard from Nancy, and she seems very favorable too. And I think to draw this to a conclusion, I would like to second a motion from somebody because I think that this thing's going to get passed one way or another, and I think it's good for the neighborhood. Thank you.
Okay, I will accept the motion from Nancy.
Sorry,
Oh,
just
more
one more comment from Margaret, I think.
There was a comment made by Building saying that it appears that there are two separate lots. That if there are two lots, that they should be merged in title. So could you confirm whether these are two separate lots?
They are merged.
I believe that was a question to the applicant.
Yes.
Yeah, Liddell said he'd like to speak.
Sure. So my understanding is that they are merged in title. From speaking with the neighbors, we've been here for about just over a year. So the neighbors previously had an L-shaped lot, and about 10 years ago, the person we bought it from purchased that back of the L, which is where the laneway is from them. So my lawyer has told us that they are merged in title. We asked staff what was needed in order to confirm that, like whether the email from the lawyer was sufficient or if they needed more, and we never received a response from staff on that.
And to that regard, I did check and I noticed that they are merged in title.
Okay. Thank you, Nancy.
I did that just this morning.
And now I will take your motion, Nancy, and seconded by Laverne. All in favor?
Here, here.
Opposed, if any?
Sorry, was that late voting by Margaret and Thomas, or was that
Yes.
opposition?
Yes.
That was late voting?
Yeah.
Okay, so
I'm pondering, but then I decided to go for yes.
Okay, so none opposed.
Any opposed? None opposed. Motion carried, application approved.
Great.
Thank you
Thank you very much. Yeah.
Thank you.
It took a while.
Okay, and we are, sorry. We're all set for the next one. So we're now hearing HMA 21-272 for 178 Dromore Crescent in Hamilton. We have the agent registered to speak and no interested parties.
Is the agent available?
Yes, it's Dewey Wynn from N-Cube Designs here.
Yes, did you have a chance to read the comments that were posted?
I did. They were all favorable and in complete agreement.
Okay, committee questions, motion? Bob,
A motion by Bob,
seconder? David? All in favor?
I'm in favor.
Opposed, if any?
seeing none?
Seeing none, motion carried, application approved.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Thank you. I have to comment to the comments from planning. I'm so used to seeing staff support or staff do not support. And when I see staff do support, I get confused sometimes.
Thank you.
Yes,
I didn't know whether anybody else.
No, I did.
Gosh.
Yeah, I think everybody was confused by it. I was confused by it, and I am going to mention it to planning for the next round. It was just on so many files this time that I didn't have a chance to fix it before the comments went out. I didn't notice it in time. That is on my list of things to mention.
Thank goodness I wasn't losing my mind.
Yeah, well, I'm glad I commented because I thought I was losing my mind, but anyway.
I read it wrong at first too, until I got straightened out.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
Yes.
You're welcome, Nancy.
Absolutely. All right. So I believe
the older we get, the harder it is to read.
Okay, next.
All right, so we're hearing HMB 2165 for 111 and 115 Whitney Avenue in Hamilton. We have the agent registered to speak, as well as the owner, and no interested parties. At the appropriate time, I did want to request clarity. Zoning staff have asked for clarity because there is a minor variance that is coming for this later, and this was an application that I believe the conditions weren't fulfilled for, so there's some history with the property. So they just wanted clarity on the severed lands and the retained lands so that it can be, all of the comments for everything will be synced up. So I believe they mentioned it in their comments, but at the appropriate time, I'll figure that out with the motions.
Okay, is the agent available?
Yes, Mr. Chair. See Sean here.
And you read the comments that were posted?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Committee have any questions, or Jamila, did you want to clarification?
Sure. So for clarity, the severed lands will be known as 111 Whitney Avenue, shown as Part 3 on the proposed site plan, and the lands to be retained will be 115 Whitney Avenue, shown as Part 2 on the proposed site plans, with the associated lot dimensions as shown on that site plan.
Okay. Committee have any questions on that? No questions? I want to have a motion.
Move it.
Margaret? Seconder?
I'll second it.
Bob got it.
I think Bob. All in favor?
Here.
Opposed, if any?
Seeing
Seeing
none?
none, motion carried, application approved.
Thank you, everyone.
How are we on time on the agenda? I don't have my agenda page.
We are behind.
Oh, 40 minutes behind.
Okay, let's roll.
Okay.
You just watch. We'll catch up before the end.
Okay, so we're all set for the next one, and we're hearing HMA 21266 for 172 Duke Street in Hamilton. We have the owners registered to speak and no interested parties.
Is the owner available?
Good afternoon, committee. We are available to speak.
Yes. Did you have a chance to read the comments that were posted?
Yes, we did, and we're able to address the notes and comments posted by the building division if required.
Okay. Committee, any questions or a motion?
I shall move.
I'll second it.
Melvin, then Laverne. All in favor?
Here.
Opposed, if any?
Seeing none?
Seeing none, motion carried, application approved.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
at the minute.
Okay, and we're all set for the next one. We are hearing HMA 21265 for 129 to 131 Wellington Street North in Hamilton. We have the agent registered to speak and no interested parties.
Okay, is the agent available?
Good afternoon, sir. Yes, I'm here. Mike Crow with IVI Group.
Yes, did you have a chance to read the comments that were posted?
Yes, we have, sir.
And do you have any questions?
We don't have questions. I have prepared a presentation. I'm very mindful of the time and where we are in the agenda. my only clarification, well, I guess the only thing I wanted to accomplish is just to be clear on the variances being requested and are required. As you know, there's some discrepancy in the public notice versus what's in the staff comments. We are very happy with the additional review in the staff comments. I just don't know if the committee would prefer that we go through and confirm that list and explain those, or if everything is well understood and we can answer questions if need be. So I guess I'll put myself in the hands of the committee and go with what is required.
Okay, I'll ask the question. Any committee members want more clarification, or are you okay with what you see and read?
We're okay with what we have here.
Yep.
Bob?
Move it.
Bob
Move
moved
it.
it.
Moved as amended? As
Yes.
amended by building? Okay.
Seconded by Mel.
Whoever.
All in favor?
Here.
Opposed, if any? Seeing none, motion carried, application approved.
Thank you for your time. Very much appreciated.
And we're all set for the next one. So we're hearing HMA 2122 for 111 Grant Avenue in Hamilton. We have the agent registered to speak as well as the owner and no interested parties.
Okay, is the agent available?
So I believe we did have them on. So are either the agent or the owner on the line for 111 Grant Avenue?
Yes, ma'am, I'm here.
Okay.
Hello?
You are on the phone line?
Yes, I'm on the phone line and I'm the applicant for this particular application.
Okay. Did you have a chance to read the comments that were posted?
Yes, I reviewed the comments and apparently planning is supporting our venture. So I was happy with those comments.
Okay, committee have any questions or a motion?
Move it.
Margaret?
I'll move
Second it.
Yeah.
Laverne? All in favor?
Here.
Opposed, if any? Seeing none, motion carried, application approved.
Thank you.
Okay, and we are all set for the next one. So we are now hearing HMB 2145 and HMA 21207 for 436 King William Street in Hamilton. We have the agent registered to speak and one interested party.
Is the agent available?
I am here. Good afternoon. Through the chair, Caitlin Gillis, planner with T. Jones Consulting Group. And with me, I have the owner, Brandon DeGroot Gibson. And if the interested party would like to speak, that's fine. I will say that we've, since the last time we were here, we met with the neighbor that was here concerned about parking and happily explained the project to her. And I believe we have her support for the project. And then also I would like to formally acknowledge Development Engineering's comment regarding the side yard. And so respectfully, we will be wishing to amend on the floor, so to speak, variance number 4 to request a side yard of 0.9 meters instead of 0.6 meters for some swales once the project is built. That being said, though, I would love to hear from the interested party.
Thank you for helping me out.
Anytime.
So I have checked, and I don't believe that I have the interested party on the line. If Jen Stratemeyer is on the call, please make yourself known. She is the interested party, but I do not see her currently.
Does the committee have any questions or comments? Is that Nancy? Yes. Go ahead.
Hey, Caitlin, help me out. What I'm seeing is a front and back severance. Is that correct? And the back piece is being added over to Stephen Street?
Correct.
Okay. And the front part, which is the retained portion, I guess?
Yes.
Is going to allow for what? What is going to be, like that house is going to be left there?
Yeah, so through the chair. So this is, if I may, can I share my screen and show a site plan? It will be easier to
That'd be great.
What the overall vision is. So on your screen, you will see the bolded outline. So right now, this is 436 436 King William. This long property, so it fronts King William, and then it also fronts the laneway. And here is 16 Stephen Street, which is also known as the Pearl Company, which is now in new ownership, the Pearl Nonprofit Housing. And the intent is that the rear yard of the 436 King William will be merged with 16 Stephen, which will be shortly subject to a zoning bylaw amendment. And we will be proposing to readapt the existing building for affordable housing. And the backyard of what is now 436, we're proposing 2 parking spaces, which are existing, but we're going to use them for the readapted residential building and some green amenity for the tenants. And then the retained portion of the property will provide a 6-meter depth rear yard for the 2 tenants in the new duplex. And then and then a parking space in the front via a boulevard parking agreement for the duplex.
Okay. So right now, 436 is a single family dwelling.
Correct.
And does 436 meet the qualifications with that shortened lot to allow for a 2-family dwelling?
With the other variances before you today, it will, yes.
And the boulevard parking agreement?
Correct, yes.
Okay, thank you.
No worries. Thank you for your question.
Any other committee member?
Move it.
Okay, Bob made a motion to move.
Seconder. Sorry. So that was moved with variance 4 being amended to 0.9 meters, 0.6?
Yeah.
Yes, okay. Okay.
Did you have a seconder, Jamila?
I'll second it with the.
Mark did, I think.
Yeah, I did.
Okay, all in favor? Opposed, if any?
Seeing none?
Seeing none, motion carried, application approved.
Thank you very much, committee.
That's for both.
Long live 11 Stephen, or 16 Stephen, whatever it is. Or play.
We're working on it.
I'm glad.
It's a journey, but we're glad. Thank you.
Okay, and we're all set for the next one. So we are hearing HMA 21279 for 227 and 229 Maplewood Avenue in Hamilton. We have the agent registered to speak and no interested parties.
Okay, is the agent available?
Yes, I am.
You have a chance to read the comments that were posted?
Yes,
You have any?
and I have no objections. No, I do not.
Okay.
All right,
Committee?
move it. Move it.
I have Nancy with the motion to approve, seconded by Mel, and that is with the amendments per building.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, all in favor?
Here.
Opposed, if any?
Seeing none?
Seeing none, motion carried, application approved.
Thank you very much.
Let's decide the track.
Okay, and we are all set for the next one. So we're now hearing HMA 21166 for 28 Burris Street in Hamilton. We have the owners registered to speak, as well as the agent and one interested party.
Is the agent available?
Good afternoon, committee. Yes.
Did you have a chance to read the comments that were posted?
I did, sir. Yes.
And do you have any questions or concerns?
I'm thankful to the staff for being supportive to our application.
Okay, there was another concerned citizen.
Yes, so we did have one person registered, Michelle Tromberg. If you're on the line, I don't see her listed. So if you are here, please make yourself known.
No?
No, so I don't see her.
Okay, committee?
We have
Questions,
Laverne.
motion?
I do support it.
Okay, Laverne, then Bob? All in favor?
Here.
Opposed, if any?
Seeing none?
Seeing none, motion carried, application approved.
Thank you very much.
I do support it, so do I.
All right. And this was the time that we had a break scheduled. We are up. So if we wanted, we could have 5 minutes or we could proceed.
Let's do one more. Go on.
Then
Sorry.
I do. Well,
Sorry, I cut out there, so I wasn't actually able to hear you.
Yes, let's carry on. And then maybe we'll take a break.
Okay, all right. Good. So we are now hearing HMA 268-309 Strathern Avenue in Hamilton. We have the interested party.
Okay, owner available?
Yes, I am.
Did you have a chance to read the comments that were posted?
Actually, no, I have not.
Okay, it would probably be a good idea if you did read them. The recommendation from staff is denial. They are in favor of variances 1, 2, 3, and not in favor of 4, 5, 6, 7. So I'm wondering, since you didn't have a chance to read the comments, I'm wondering if maybe we should table it till you have a chance to read the comments.
Is it something we can go over? I just literally stepped out. I've been in and out of the hospital with my mom, who's diagnosed with dementia. So it's been a uphill battle just trying to get this to Committee of Adjustments. So, I mean, if there's something you could let me know and address, and I can maybe help to comment on it.
Maybe you should table it, read it over, and bring it back in the next one, and then have a chance to review it all. It's quite long.
Yes, there are 7 variances. And
The 3 that are opposed all relate to parking.
Utilize the committee's time to debate the variances that are recommend denial. So I'm just wondering if the best situation would be to table it. And if we can, Jamila, if we can schedule it for the next meeting, is that possible?
Yeah, so we can schedule it for 1:10 on September 9th. You can have it scheduled for then. And for the interested party, so you will be sent a link again for the new hearing date as well. No further notice will be circulated though.
Okay, so I'll accept the table for motioning. Mel?
Sure. Yeah. Second it.
Nancy? All in favor of table?
Here.
Okay, motion's carried for table. Just to the owner, yeah, have a good look at the comments and the 4 variances that are in question. Have a discussion with planning and see if you can get favorable comments.
Okay, will do.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Okay, then we are all set for the next one. So we are hearing HMA 21267 for 209 Grenfell Street in Hamilton. We have the agent and owner registered to speak.
Yes, is the
And no
agent
interested
available?
parties.
Hello?
Yes. Did you have a chance
Hi.
to, did you have a chance to read the comments that were posted?
I did, yes.
Variance 6.
So,
Variant 6 is one that planning has an issue with.
yeah, I'm not sure if committee members are aware of this project. I was in committee about 3 months ago regarding the same project and everything was approved at the time. So I was a little shocked to see it come back again. And the only reason I'm back here is because there was an issue with the site plan that was submitted previously where the front, I believe the front yard and one of the side yard dimensions were actually greater, not less. So I'm not sure if you have access to the old.
Am I the only one cutting out?
Yes. Does the committee have any questions on this one?
I didn't hear a single thing that he said, but I guess it was just my system cutting out.
Okay.
So I'll let you guys lead the way on this.
I can repeat it back, Nancy. I was in committee a couple months ago regarding the same project, same variances. Everything was exactly the same. Apparently, when I had submitted it the first time, there was some information that was incorrect on the site plan that I didn't have access to. So I ended up getting it from the land registry's office, and I've come back with it. And there's a slight change in some dimensions on the site plan, which to me, I didn't think it had changed anything much, but it seems like the staff did not support variance 6. I believe that's what I.
When did you bring it before?
I want to say I was in committee on this in January. No, it wasn't January. It's way after that. I'm just trying to look it up. Sorry.
Yeah, so am I.
I mean, I read into variance 6. It seems minor, but I leave that up to the committee.
What's planning got to say about it?
Everything was approved at the time, so I was just a little.
So the application was originally heard on January 21st of 2021, and
Yes.
it was approved subject to conditions.
Can we hear from staff as to why they changed the situation?
Through the chair to the committee, I wasn't the staff member that commented on that application, and I was not aware that it had previously gone to the committee. So that's why there may be some discrepancy between the two.
Committee have any questions on this? Variant 6 seems to be the hang up, but
Yeah, I think that's the only thing I had noticed, and I agree. I think it's minor in nature. But
open for comments or motion. David, what do you think?
I think somebody has to make a decision here. So.
Is that going to be you?
Can I just?
Okay, you want to know something? Leave it in my hands. Go with me. I make a motion for approval. Go. Got it.
Thank you.
I'll second that.
I think I got Bob's hand before Laverne.
Can I just ask a question here? Do the extensions on that deck, do they go beyond the limit of the house? Or they don't stick out more than the rest of the house, do they, or do they?
Not more than the rest of the house. It's the existing foundation, and we're just maintaining that same profile.
Okay. Motion made, seconded. All in favor?
Here.
Seeing none?
Seeing none, motion carried, application approved.
Thank you, committee members.
And I did just want to clarify, Nancy, are you there? Your camera just turned off. I know you were having technical difficulties. Okay, so I'll just
We caught up yet? I'm gonna have more than my camera go off in a minute.
Down for the count.
Nancy, are you with us?
I'll vote yes.
So I'm not hearing her. Her microphone is unmuted, and oh yeah, she's just gone now. So
R54, where are you?
I've made a note.
Okay.
All right.
Carry on.
So we're all set for the next one. So we're hearing HMA 21262 for 99 Kimberly Drive in Hamilton. We have the owner registered to speak and no interested parties.
Is the owner available?
Good afternoon. Chris Donaldson, owner here.
Yes. Did you have a chance to read the comments that were posted?
I did. All looks good to me.
Yes. Committee have any questions? Motion?
And that was moved approval with, as amended by building, sorry?
Yes.
Thank you.
Seconder?
I'll second.
Margaret? All in favor?
Those in favor?
Opposed, if any?
Seeing none?
Seeing none, motion carried, application approved.
Thank you very much.
And sorry, did Laverne step out or is he just out of camera range?
Laverne's okay with it.
Oh, okay, thanks. And we have 1 minute for the next one.
Whoa.
I can't believe we caught up.
I told you.
You're doing good there.
Okay.
All right, so we're all set for the next one, and we are hearing Road in Hamilton, and we have the agent registered to speak and no interested parties.
Is the agent available?
I am.
Did you have a chance to read the comments that were posted?
I did.
And would you like to go with the tabling?
Yes.
Okay. Motion for tabling?
So move.
Melvin?
Mel?
Second.
Margaret?
All in favor, table?
Here.
Opposed, if any?
Seeing
Motion
none?
carried, application tabled.
Thanks.
Okay, can we take 5-minute break now then?
Yeah, we can. So we will be back at 3:11 then?
Sure. Did Nancy make it back yet or not?
No, I still don't see her on.
Okay.
Okay, I'm not sure if,
I don't see Bob.
I'm here.
Ah, good.
Mark is here.
I'm here.
Nancy not back yet?
No, she hasn't rejoined the call.
Okay. David, are you back?
If you are there, David, you're just muted.
We're missing.
So yeah, he might not be back either.
Tom, are you back?
I'm here.
Okay. So we're missing three?
Wait till the end to tell that.
Yeah.
Wait till the end to tell that.
Oh, there's Bob. Okay, let's go with it.
Okay. So we're all set to hear HMB 2113 and HMA 2185 for 552 and 554 Cannon Street East in Hamilton. We have the agent registered to speak and no interested parties.
Okay, is the agent available?
Yes, I'm here. Ken?
Did you have a chance to read the comments that were posted?
Yes, I did. Yep. And I was working with Kim Roberts on this one, and we've gone through this application extensively to identify all the variances, and I'm happy with staff's recommendation on this one.
Okay, committee have any questions or a motion?
Move it.
Move it.
So I have a motion by Laverne, and that's with the amendments per building.
Yep.
And seconded by Mark.
All in favor? Opposed, if any?
Seeing none?
Seeing none, motion carried, application approved.
Okay, and we're all set for the next one. So we're hearing HMA 21182 for 75 Adair Street North in Hamilton. And we have the agent registered to speak and no interested parties.
Okay, is the agent available?
Yep, it's Ken again.
Yep, did you have a chance to read the comments that were posted?
Yes, I did. Now, there's one concern I have was that, and I did send an email to, I think it was Kim Roberts again, who helped on this one, and to committee this morning, that one of our variances wasn't identified. It was on our application form, but it was a reduction in 2 parking spaces to 0. But I've talked with the parking department, and they would grant us 2 boulevard parking spaces, subject to the approval of the landscape area, which staff have recommended for approval. But that variance for the reduction in 2 parking spaces wasn't in this report. So I don't know what happened to it because it was on our application form.
So since we have to add an additional variance, I'm just wondering, do we have to recirculate, Jamila?
I believe that would be up to the committee members. They could determine that further notice is required, or they could determine that it is minor and in keeping with the application and that no further notice is required. So it's up to the committee members.
Okay. Comments from the committee?
One thing I see on there's variants 2 and 3 are being denied too on here. So I don't know whether the owner is aware of that.
Yes, the variances in regards to the balcony, we're okay with those being denied. It's not a priority issue on this particular application, so we're fine with that. A letter from the parking department showing that it would be approved was sent in with our application, and it was also emailed out to committee this morning as a reminder. So we do have 2 off-street parking spaces at the property, which is a good thing.
Out of curiosity, what's the bylaw issue here with respect to front yard parking? Is it limited to just 1 or 2?
Sorry, just Thomas, I just was reading over the notice, and so the parking was addressed in variance 6. It does appear that maybe it was on the second page of the notice, so perhaps when planning was reviewing it or when people were reviewing it, they missed it. But it is listed on the notice. No parking spaces shall be provided instead of the minimum required 1 parking space. Is how it was listed. So that is how they identified as 1 parking space would be required, but no parking spaces should be permitted. And the variance for the landscape area was also identified.
Okay, so it was put on the notice, but it just wasn't in the staff comments. Okay.
Yeah.
So it has been captured. Okay.
One of the committee members asked, I guess, a question about variance 2 and 3 about this balcony, and was your comment that you were okay with the denial of that variance?
Yes, we're okay with the denial of that variance. It is an existing rooftop balcony that was constructed prior from a previous owner. If committee deems it okay, we would appreciate if we could have those 2 variances accepted so that this balcony doesn't have to be removed. Staff did recommend support for the variance for the staircase that leads to this balcony. So then we could just leave things as is in regards to those 2 items. But it would be up to you.
Planning to see what their reply would be to that?
Through the chair to the committee, can you please repeat the question or specify the question?
Variance 2 and 3 is to do with the balcony. It's supposedly already there, so.
Yep, I mean, the fact that the balcony is already built, I don't think it changes planning's review of the proposal. Yeah, that's all planning would have to comment on that. Parking, the variance, my apologies, I missed that variance. Planning has no issues with that, subject to the needed boulevard parking agreement. So variance 6, staff can support that.
In other words, the planning variance 2 and 3, you're in favor of it now the way it is because it's an existing situation?
Nope, comments remain the same.
Remain the same? Okay, that's what I wanted to hear.
I take it that's not a non-conforming use. Or not, yes, not a non-conforming use.
I believe it would be a non-conforming use, but not a legal non-conforming use.
Oh, all right.
So is the balcony a privacy issue more so than the stairs? Because you could sit on the balcony or look over the balcony into the neighbors, whereas a staircase, it's basically you're walking up and down. And that's why city doesn't have a problem with the staircase, but have a problem with the balcony?
Through the chair to the committee, that is correct. The variance for the stairs is also into the rear yard. It doesn't have anything to do with the side yard. So yeah, you're correct.
Okay, committee questions?
I have Margaret.
I would be prepared to move for approval, but without 2 and 3, and with the additional parking variance, however that's going to be worded, if the owner is okay with that. You said that you were okay with the
Yeah,
removal of 2 and 3?
We can live with the because it's really about it's a side yard setback. So we are permitted a balcony, or just it have to be set back further from the side lot line, which would involve some reconstruction. It doesn't necessarily change a privacy concern, if you will, because there's still this upper platform up there that, you know, people could theoretically put tables and chairs on. It would be easier if the variance would be accepted, just so that we don't have to reconstruct and bring this thing in, you know, another foot or two.
And we have a question or comment from Thomas.
How long has the balcony been there, and how long has it been used?
So this balcony predated my client's purchase of the property this past year. So we don't know how long it's been there. It's what it is. It's a rear addition on this house that has a flat roof on it, and it just has a railing system around the perimeter of it. So it's not like it's even like a deck or anything like that of that kind of nature. It's a flat roof addition that has a railing around it, and there is a door from the second level that leads out to this space. And so
does the addition itself then not conform with the side yard requirement?
Well,
if the roof is too far out, then presumably the whole thing is.
Well, this addition has been there for a long time. Like, I would assume that it's part of the existing building. I would assume that this addition, you know, was built with the permit at some point. But that's not necessarily the subject of the variance denial. It's a setback to what we've called it a balcony, which is really an upper deck platform. Well, there's no decking up there at all. It's a flat roof. It's like a rubberized membrane that has a railing system around it, and there's an access door from the second level. So, you know, there is access from the dwelling onto that space, and there was an existing staircase that led up to it. So we were wanting just to recognize what was already sitting at this property, without having to, you know.
So the bottom line would be the addition's there, but you just can't use the roof of the addition as a balcony.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
How old do you think this balcony is? Does it look like wood from a year ago or from 50 years ago? You must have some notion.
I'd have to just jump into my photos for a second, just to refresh my memory. But the addition is relatively new in the fact that it's, you know, probably 20 years old. No, it's not like it's original from 1950s or something. No, it is newer in age compared to the original house. And then it is a metal railing system up there. So it's hard for me to say what the age of it is, as I was not involved in that, you know, prior.
Okay, but you've had no complaints from neighbors, I imagine, or there's no one there saying that people sit there and make noise and drink and throw stuff or anything. So that's sometimes relevant as well.
We haven't had any indication from neighbors regarding it, and you know, obviously a notice had gone out to neighbors, and we don't have anybody here making an issue of it today as well.
Yes, Ken, that's what I was going to also comment, and Mark, you brought it up too. I mean, there's no neighbors have complained about this balcony, and as your comment was, you know, you shorten it up a foot, are you really changing the privacy or the view?
Exactly. Then you have to get a permit, you have to get it inspected, then they'll want engineer drawings, and then 30 grand down the line, you're still fooling around with that for something that's really not a major issue, other than it's just philosophically not acceptable with no complaints.
Like the
Just
Dude,
my
the,
thought.
the railing system on this rooftop kind of balcony, if that's what we're calling it, like it's following the same line as the addition. So it's following the same setback as the house, you know, so it's not like it's protruding into the side yard. It's following the same line of the house. Like, and I think the drawings were provided to committee to see that.
Committee, any more questions? Motion?
I say move it,
I'll second it.
allowing the deck to stay.
So that was a motion to approve as written. Motion by
Yes.
Mark, seconded by Laverne.
And what did you want to do about that 2 and 3 variance, Mark?
Well, I think that's already been
That was
discussed.
to leave it as written. So not
Yeah,
to
leave it
deny
as
it, but
written,
to leave it as written. In
Yeah,
the
leave them
variance.
on. The 2 and 3 was to get rid of the deck up top, which seems a little onerous to me. So I say
Okay.
leave them.
Okay, did you have a seconder, Jamila?
Yep,
Yes.
Laverne seconded.
Okay, all in favor? Opposed, if any?
Actually, I haven't voted yet. I was. Okay, in favor.
You're in favor? Okay. And I wasn't able to see Mel vote.
I was in favor.
You were in favor? Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Your lucky day, Ken.
Great. So just so I'm clear, so then all of our variances were approved?
Yeah, so the variances listed on the notice, so variances 1 through 6 were approved.
Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Okay, and then we're all set for the next ones. We're hearing HMA 21274 for 73 Albany Avenue in Hamilton. And we have the agent registered to speak and no interested parties.
Is the agent available?
Yes, it's me again, Ken.
Yep.
Oh boy.
You have a chance to read the comments?
Yes, I did. And we also discussed with staff prior to making this application, and we're in 100% support of their recommendation for approval.
Okay, committee questions?
So a motion to
Melvin?
approve by Mel.
Seconder?
I have Laverne.
All in favor?
Here, here.
Opposed, if any?
Seeing none.
Motion carried, application approved.
Great. Thank you, everyone.
Okay, and we are set for the next one. Yep, HMA 21275 for 141 Craig Royston Road in Hamilton. And we have the agent and owner registered to speak and no interested parties.
Is the agent available?
You might just have to speak a little bit closer to your microphone.
Yes, I am. My name is Khalil Hilal.
We can hardly hear you, sir. If you can adjust your mic. Try again.
Yeah. My name is
Yep,
Khalil
just-
Hilal. Can you hear
Yep,
me?
just speak a little louder for us, please.
Okay, okay.
Great. Did you have a chance to read the comments that were posted?
Yes, I have. And I am pleased for the staff, like for the support. And I'm ready to answer any concern, any question.
Okay, committee questions or motion?
Motion to approve by Bob, seconded by Margaret.
All in favor?
Here, here.
Opposed, if any?
Seeing none.
Seeing none, motion carried, application approved.
Thank you very much indeed.
And the next item was HMA 21273 for 207 Beach Boulevard. There was a circulation error on staff's part, and so this application will have to be tabled to the September 9th hearing. So we won't be hearing it today.
Okay. Do you need a motion to table that or?
No, it
Not
was,
really.
yeah, it was okay.
Okay.
Notified the people ahead of time. It just, the comments got sent out with them. So I just wanted to let you know. Okay, and then we have 8 minutes for the next one.
No news about Nancy, MIA?
No,
Nancy
still don't-
texted me and said that she's totally disconnected from WebEx.
Oh, from WebEx.
And I didn't respond because I don't even know what WebEx means.
I believe that is what you're currently using.
I know what PaxX is. They deliver stuff to me. I know what GasX is when they have stomach trouble with their stomach. But WebEx, sorry. I'll text back, say what?
All right. I did know that we here we're having some connection issues, so I wasn't sure if that was she was having the same issues or not.
Which one are we on? Sherwood Forest?
Robin Hood.
Forest.
So Jamila, has all the staff been vaccinated?
You're not allowed to ask.
Oh, yeah. Not till after tonight.
If anyone's interested, I'm getting a list of the 6 top litigators in the province that if you want to consult about refusing to take one when being mandated to at the threat of your job, just give me a shout.
Mark doesn't want it.
So it's going to cost you what? 10 grand to fight it?
Oh, Mark's
Not
gonna
necessarily.
put the
Sometimes the
bill-
letter, it depends who the employer is.
So when I show up to Tim Hortons field for the football game and I have this letter from A.B. Smith lawyer, they're going to say, oh yeah, no problem, Mr. Sirwada, go on in.
No, we're talking about job loss, not a football game loss. You lose your job because you refuse to take one. It's a different story.
Are you going to take responsibility for the rest of the staff if somebody gets sick? Because it's the employer's responsibility.
No, because the people that don't take it still have their natural immunity, which works better against the Delta variant. And the ones that took it for the original one are losing their natural immunity for this and other variants to come.
Wow. I haven't met anybody that could come up with that kind of a dissertation on it.
That was a good presentation, Mark. I got to admit.
Thank you.
You're going to be on like CNN tonight.
Sounds like you've been on the internet.
I've pretty much listened to everything that has to do with it. Like my family's vaccinated, but there still are issues and people still have concerns.
Where does this explanation come from with that you just came up with, that the vaccination actually removes your natural immunity?
The person that invented the technology for this new artificial vaccine, the actual guy that did it, Vander Bosch, is the one that's been saying that, even though it's his technology. He says you get clearance on the one that you're doing, and then it mutates to something else. But then because you've taken the spike protein, you can potentially lose your immunity for other things going forward. It's actually quite interesting. I've heard quite a bit on it.
Emphasis on
Can't
10,
get into ours.
potentially.
Yeah, potentially,
I've seen
sure.
him on beating the drum for everybody getting vaccinated.
So
It's all over. It's all political too.
Well,
Big
yeah, it's-
pharma, lots of money, politics.
Just a wee bit of politics in there, yeah.
Yeah, just a wee bit.
50% of the reason why I get it is so I can go do things and travel. I mean, I had to give in. I had to throw in the flag and say, okay, I want to go do things. Yeah, but I get the other part. But I mean, you're just going to have to do it. Just
No, you
be able
take the risk to maintain a way of life that you want, and if
Right,
that's what you want to
that's
do.
right.
Yeah, I'm 62. I don't care.
Right.
But
I'm not too
I worry
concerned
about the kids. Yeah, they want to get kids to take it now in the States. If you watch CNN, that's their whole narrative now. Just little kids to take it.
Well, they're starting to talk about that in Ontario too. For schools.
Everybody has their own story why they want to take it. And you just got to respect everybody's own story. And that's it. Yours might be different. Yours, everybody's different. And I don't care why you want to take it. You don't care why I want to take it. You know what I mean? That's your story. Respect.
Let's see what happens in the next election, and let's see who does well or does poorly based on their narratives, and then you'll see changes.
Are we finished?
Yes.
Go ahead. We had our
I
talk.
didn't even want to start.
We have 1 minute.
So is that, just want to ask, is that the Vanden Bosch who's the veterinarian?
No.
He probably do a better job than a doctor or a scientist.
This all started with the Hamilton football team. We don't even have a football team in Hamilton.
Oh, yeah, we do. We're going to the Grey Cup now that they got Ravioli Mazzoli out of there and they got a good quarterback playing for them. We're going to the Cup. Right, Margaret? Margaret,
Yes.
we're going to the Cup.
Won't be our team.
Definitely.
You know.
I
Okay.
definitely don't want a repeat of
committee.
last year either.
Camila?
All right. We're all set for the next one. We are hearing DNA 21264 for 106 Robin Hood Drive in Dundas. We have the owner registered to speak and no interested parties.
Is the owner available?
Yeah, I'm here. This is Dustin Lashbrook.
Yep. Did you have a chance to read the comments that were posted?
In the notice?
In the email that you were sent, there was a link that said there were comments there.
Oh, no, I didn't. Sorry.
The staff supports your variance.
Okay.
We don't have a problem with it. Does the committee have any questions?
I'll move it.
Seconder?
Here.
Bob?
Bob? Okay.
All in favor? Opposed, if any?
Seeing none.
Seeing none, motion carried, application approved.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Is that everything? That's everything?
That's it.
All right. All right, have a good day, everybody.
Thank you.
We're gonna get home in time for supper. So where did Nancy go?
Wi-Fi went completely on.
Wait, you eat on the seniors hour or what?
Get home and eat some of that Snyder's corn.
when these are online, we shouldn't just,
They're the best.
we shouldn't likely set them according to a time. They should have all started at the beginning and then we could have just gone through them all. It's only when you got them taking up too much space in the room that you need to space out the hearings.
They do clog down the system for how many people are in the meeting, depending on how they have their meeting
really?
stuff set up
Okay,
as well.
sorry.
Yeah.
I hadn't thought of that.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
It's nice. A lot of applicants like that we have timelines because they know that they don't have to come on before that. Most well, not most, a lot of municipalities just have a timeline between this and this time, and it's it can be quite long sometimes.
I think when I sat in on Burlington's, I don't think they had a timeline, but then they only did like 6 or 8, and it still took them like 4 hours to go through that many.
Yeah, I find people tend to take as much time as you give them for a lot of things. I know for myself, if you give me a week to write a report, it'll take me a week to write a report. If you give me 3 days, that'll take me 3 days.
It's called Parkinson's Law.
Yeah.
I would say that. That was great. I was out bike riding this morning and I took some pictures about 50 yards in front of me. This big black bear ran across in front of me. Huge.
Wow.
It's crazy. Right across the roadway. Boom.
That in downtown Hamilton.
No, not Hamilton. It was crazy. He was more scared of me than I was of him.
Well, hey, Dave, what were you drinking before you went for the bike ride?
Yeah, I know.
Grizzly.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Is it hot and humid down there, East Coast?
Yep. We got it too. It's good though. Like, why should we complain about hot and humidity? We only get a few weeks a year of it. In the middle of the winter, when we're freezing and it's so frigid cold out and we can't stand it, it's windshield minus whatever. You only wish you had days like these and remember these days. You know, it's good for the bones too.
Pay a lot of money to go to Florida for hot and humid weather in the winter.
I know, but it's burning my tomatoes. I can't keep my tomatoes alive.
Bring them indoors.
Camila?
All right, we're all set for the next one. So we are hearing FLA 21261 for 12 Marshborough Avenue in Flamborough. We have the agent registered to speak and no interested parties.
Yes,
The
good
agent
afternoon.
available?
Good afternoon. This is Graham, representing the homeowner.
Yep.
I
Did
have
you have
read.
a chance to read the comments?
I have, and nothing further to add.
Okay. Committee, questions, motion?
Move it.
Second.
Laverne? Seconder?
Thomas?
Thomas? All in favor?
Here.
Opposed, if any?
Seeing none?
Seeing none, motion carried, application approved.
Thank you.
Okay, and we're all set for the next one. So we are hearing FLA 21276 for 312 Parkside Road in Flamborough. We have the agent registered to speak and no interested parties.
Are we a couple of minutes early? No,
Oh, shoot, we are. Yes, sorry.
no problem.
Just jumping the gun.
I know.
It's so unexpected that we're on time.
Hey, come on. I think quite a few of the meetings we've been on key by the time we got to the end.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Dale just
There's
got a
that
good
bear.
laptop or tablet
Yeah.
today. That's
I wasn't lying.
Holy
Where's
smokes.
the gun?
Send that to me, David. Dave, can you forward that to me, please?
Yeah.
Thanks.
Vern's all licking his chops saying, "Where's my gun?"
He shoots with a camera now. He doesn't shoot with a gun.
Doesn't have a license.
I was talking to my son yesterday. We're at how many firearms we have? 423. Trudeau wants to ban them.
Hello?
All right. We're all set for the next one. So sorry, again, we're hearing FLA 21-276 for 312 Parkside Road in Flamborough, and we have the agent registered to speak and no interested parties.
Okay, is the agent available?
Yes, I am. Good afternoon.
Yes, did you have a chance to read the comments that were posted?
Yes, we did.
Do you have any questions?
No, everything looks good.
Okay, committee?
Love it.
Melvin?
Sorry, did somebody second that? I didn't hear.
Bob.
Oh, Bob, okay.
All in favor?
Here, here.
Opposed, if any?
Seeing none?
Seeing none, motion carried, application approved.
Thanks so much. Have a great afternoon.
Yeah, that's all. Building division.
It's the,
Lot coverage doesn't,
why, I guess. lot's a lot bigger than normal. Stopped in and walked around. Nobody home.
We'll fix that.
Hey, Vern, were you down in St. Peter's in Cape Breton? Vern.
Yes, I was, and previously we sold everything, and I've moved now, and I've purchased a home in Greenwood, Nova Scotia, and a cottage out on the Gulf.
Where's Greenwood?
Or in the Bay, rather. So I'm away from there now. We still have relatives at St. Pete's, and I drove by Rita McNeil's, and you had tape all across the driveways down there.
Oh, did I?
Well, somebody did.
Oh, you drove by the tea house on the highway.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't. It's not my property. I have a property in actual Sydney. That's just a tea house room. That's where she used to have the tea house. That's not really her property. It was, but I actually have the one in Sydney.
You have
the big.
You bought the house in Sydney.
Yeah, the bigger one, the big spread. Not this. This tea house is garbage.
Okay. Okay.
Where's Greenwood? Where's Greenwood?
North. If you come across the Truro and turn down towards turns down towards Halifax,
right?
You can go across country, and eventually that road takes you right down to
the Bay of Fundy.
Yep.
You're the Bay of Fundy. Oh, you're completely went to the other side. Okay. Got it.
There's still a military base at Greenwood? Used to be an air base there.
Yes, there is.
Okay, Jamila?
All right. So we are all set for the next one. We are hearing GLA 21277 for 1565 Binbrook Road in Glanbrook. We have the agent and owner registered to speak. And I believe they're here.
Yes, is the agent available?
I believe it's the owner.
Okay,
Yes.
the owner?
I am here, Aileen.
Yep. Did you have a chance to read the comments that were posted?
I did.
The only question I have, and I guess maybe under building division comments, it maybe answers my question, and I don't know whether anyone from planning is still on. So lot coverage with the additions on the house and the outbuildings, is it an issue with the percentage of lot coverage?
I don't think that it is.
It's a huge lot.
It's a big lot.
Yeah.
We have an acre, and the septic is on the other side. So and then we need a full size garage door, and that's the only reason.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if it, because it's in an A1 zone, that under the bylaw 05200, the lot coverage doesn't matter.
Right.
I guess.
Right.
Anyways, any questions from the committee or a motion?
Move it.
Mark, seconder. Laverne? All in favor? Opposed, if any? Seeing none, motion carried, application approved.
Thank you so much. Have a great afternoon.
done before you know it. I don't know what I'm gonna do all that extra time.
Okay, Jamil?
All right, we're all set for the next one. We are hearing FLB 2054 for 54 Dundas Street East in Flamborough. And we have the agent registered to speak and no interested parties.
Yes, is the agent available?
Good afternoon, members committee. My name is Spencer McKay with Urban Solutions.
Yes, did you have a chance to read the comments that were posted?
I did, and just like to start by thanking the committee for their patience on this application. We did table it 3 times. We were trying to get a Niagara Escarpment permit in order for this to proceed. We since have obtained that permit. And the only request we have today is in relation to condition 7 regarding the consent agreement. We're asking that that condition be waived as this application is part of a site plan application, SPA 21094. And any grading and servicing approvals would be attained through that. We also had discussions with Senior Director Tony Sergi, who agreed with our stance.
Okay, does the committee have any questions?
Move it without the consent,
Consent
Okay,
agreement.
subject to site plan, obviously.
Seconder? Bob,
And Bob?
all in favor? Opposed, if any?
Seeing none?
Seeing none,
Thank you,
motion
everyone.
carried.
Have a good night.
Application approved.
Okay, guys, I gotta fly and get back to my craziness at the end of the month here. See you in a couple weeks.
All right, peace out.
Okay, bye.
All right.
What is the next date?
September
Our next
9th.
meeting, 9th?
The 9th. Yep, that's right.
Yep, okay. Does any committee members have any questions, any business?
Well, we figured out what happened to Dale's tablet. I have it right here.
Oh, perfect. That's great, right? You may have to keep working on that, Dale.
Yeah.
I'll see if